How many of you are living someone else's life right now? How many of you are working jobs you hate because someone told you to be practical? How many of you gave up on your dreams because someone said they were impossible? Here's what nobody wants to admit. Most people are not living their own life. They're living the life their parents wanted, their teachers expected, their friends approved of. You've been brainwashed into mediocrity. And the person holding you back isn't your boss, your spouse, or your circumstances. It's you and the lies you've been telling yourself about what's possible. Let me tell you something that will change your life forever. The difference between those who win and those who lose isn't about luck. It's not about where you were born or who your parents are. It's not even about the opportunities that come your way. The real difference lies in one place, and one place only: your mind. Your mind is the most powerful tool you will ever own. It's more valuable than any house, any car, any bank account. Yet most people treat their minds like a garbage dump. They let any thought walk right in and set up camp. They feed their minds junk just like they feed their bodies junk, and then they wonder why their lives don't work. I learned this lesson the hard way. For years I let my mind run wild. I let doubt move in. I let fear make itself comfortable. I let other people's opinions become my reality. And you know what happened? I got exactly what I trained my mind to expect. Nothing. But here's what I want you to understand. Your mind is like a garden. Every single day you're planting seeds. The question isn't whether you're planting seeds. The question is, what kind of seeds are you planting? Are you planting seeds of doubt or seeds of faith? Seeds of fear or seeds of courage? Seeds of limitation or seeds of possibility? Most people plant weeds all day long and then wonder why their garden looks terrible. They wake up and immediately start thinking about what's wrong with their life. They think about their problems, their limitations, their failures. They water these thoughts with emotion and attention, and then they act surprised when these thoughts grow into reality. But winners understand something different. Winners understand that they have the power to choose what grows in the garden of their mind. They understand that thoughts are things. And if you want to change your life, you must first change your thoughts. Let me ask you this. How much time do you spend training your body? Some of you spend an hour a day at the gym. You watch what you eat. You count calories. You measure your progress. But how much time do you spend training your mind? How much attention do you pay to the thoughts you're thinking? How careful are you about the mental food you're consuming? The mind is like a muscle. If you don't use it, you lose it. If you don't train it, it becomes weak, and a weak mind will always produce weak results. A strong mind, on the other hand, will find a way to win, even when the odds are stacked against it. I remember when I first started in business. I was young, inexperienced, and broke. I had every reason to fail. But I made a decision that changed everything. I decided to train my mind like an athlete trains their body. I started reading books. I started listening to successful people. I started paying attention to my thoughts and choosing better ones. The results weren't immediate. Success never is. But slowly, day by day, my mind started to change. I started to see opportunities where I used to see obstacles. I started to believe in possibilities where I used to see problems. And as my mind changed, my results started to change too. That's the power of a trained mind. It doesn't just change what you think. It changes what you see. It changes what you believe is possible. It changes what you're willing to attempt. And ultimately, it changes what you become. But here's what you need to understand. Training your mind isn't a one-time event. It's a daily discipline. It's a lifelong commitment. Every single day you have to make the conscious choice to feed your mind good thoughts, to associate with positive people, to focus on solutions instead of problems. The cost of an untrained mind is enormous. It's the cost of dreams that never become reality. It's the cost of potential that never gets realized. It's the cost of a life lived in mediocrity when you were designed for greatness. But the rewards of a trained mind are beyond measure. A trained mind gives you confidence when others are filled with doubt. It gives you faith when others are paralyzed by fear. It gives you the ability to see opportunity in every challenge and possibility in every problem. So let me ask you again, are you willing to train your mind to win? Are you willing to take control of your thoughts and choose what grows in the garden of your mind? Because if you are, everything in your life is about to change. You see, most people go through life thinking that their thoughts just happen to them. They wake up in the morning and whatever thought pops into their head, they accept it as truth. They don't question it. They don't challenge it. They don't realize that they have the power to choose their thoughts, just like they have the power to choose their clothes. But here's what I learned from studying successful people for over 40 years. Every single one of them understood this fundamental truth. You are not your thoughts. You are the thinker of your thoughts. You are the one who decides which thoughts to accept and which thoughts to reject. You are the one who decides which thoughts to nurture and which thoughts to eliminate. This distinction changes everything. When you realize that you're not a victim of your thoughts, but the master of them, you suddenly have power you never knew you had. You suddenly have control you never knew you possessed. You suddenly have the ability to shape your reality in ways you never imagined. Think about it this way. If someone walked into your house and started rearranging your furniture, you'd throw them out. If someone walked into your kitchen and started eating your food, you'd stop them. If someone walked into your garage and started taking your tools, you'd call the police. But most people let any thought walk into their mind and make itself at home. They let thoughts of doubt, fear, and limitation move in and take over. Your mind is your most precious possession. It's your private sanctuary. It's the place where your dreams are born, where your goals are set, where your future is created. Why would you let just any thought contaminate that sacred space? I remember meeting a man years ago who had achieved tremendous success in business. He had built a company from nothing into a multi-million-dollar enterprise. I asked him what he attributed his success to, and his answer surprised me. He said, "Jim, I became successful the day I learned to say no to thoughts that didn't serve me." He explained that early in his career he would let his mind run wild with worry, doubt, and fear. Every time he faced a challenge, his mind would flood with negative thoughts. What if I fail? What if I lose money? What if people think I'm not capable? These thoughts would paralyze him and prevent him from taking action. But then he learned something that changed his life. He learned that he didn't have to believe every thought that crossed his mind. He learned that he could examine his thoughts, evaluate them, and choose which ones to keep and which ones to discard. He learned that he could train his mind to focus on solutions instead of problems, on opportunities instead of obstacles, on possibilities instead of limitations. This is the difference between people who achieve their dreams and people who don't. It's not that successful people don't have negative thoughts. They do. It's that they don't let those thoughts control their actions. They don't let those thoughts determine their destiny. They don't let those thoughts define their reality. Your mind is like a radio. There are many stations broadcasting at the same time. There's the station of doubt, the station of fear, the station of limitation. But there's also the station of faith, the station of courage, the station of possibility. You get to choose which station you tune into. You get to choose which voice you listen to. You get to choose which message you accept. Most people never learn how to change the station. They get stuck listening to the same negative programming day after day, year after year. They wonder why their life doesn't improve, but they never think to change what they're feeding their mind. But you can change the station. You can tune in to thoughts of success, achievement, and prosperity. You can choose to listen to the voice of your potential instead of the voice of your limitations. You can choose to focus on what's possible instead of what's impossible. The quality of your life is determined by the quality of your thoughts. If you want to change your life, you must first change your thoughts. If you want to achieve more, you must first think more. If you want to become more, you must first believe more is possible. This is why I say that your mind is your most valuable asset. It's not your house, your car, or your bank account. It's your mind. Because your mind is what creates everything else. Your mind is what turns dreams into reality. Your mind is what transforms possibilities into achievement. But like any valuable asset, your mind requires maintenance. It requires care. It requires attention. You wouldn't buy an expensive car and then never change the oil. You wouldn't buy a beautiful house and then never maintain it. So why would you have a powerful mind and then never train it? The untrained mind is like a garden left untended. Weeds will grow, pests will move in, the beautiful plants will be choked out by the ugly ones. But the trained mind is like a well-tended garden. It produces beautiful flowers, delicious fruit, and abundant harvests. So the question isn't whether you have a powerful mind. You do. The question is whether you're going to train it to work for you or against you. The question is whether you're going to use it to create the life you want or to justify the life you have. Now, before we can build a winning mind, we need to understand what's been holding us back. We need to identify the enemies within. These are the thoughts, beliefs, and patterns that have been sabotaging our success without us even realizing it. The first enemy is the voice of doubt. This voice has been with you for years. It's the voice that says you're not good enough, not smart enough, not talented enough. It's the voice that reminds you of every failure, every mistake, every time you fell short. This voice didn't just appear out of nowhere. It was trained. It was developed through years of negative experiences, criticism, and setbacks. But here's what you need to understand about doubt. Doubt is not your friend. Doubt is not trying to protect you. Doubt is trying to keep you small. It's trying to keep you safe. But safety and success rarely go hand in hand. The person who plays it safe rarely gets to play at all. I used to let doubt run my life. Every time I had a new idea, doubt would show up and start asking questions. What if you fail? What if people laugh at you? What if you're not ready? And for years, I listened to those questions. I let them stop me from taking action. I let them keep me stuck in a life that was far below my potential. But then I learned something that changed everything. I learned that doubt is just a thought, and thoughts can be changed. I learned that I didn't have to believe every thought that popped into my head. I learned that I could choose to listen to faith instead of fear, to courage instead of doubt. The second enemy is the comfort zone. The comfort zone is that place where everything feels safe and predictable. It's where you know what to expect, where you don't have to stretch or grow or risk anything. But here's the problem with the comfort zone. Nothing great ever happens there. All the good stuff, all the opportunities, all the breakthroughs happen outside the comfort zone. Your comfort zone is like a prison with invisible bars. You can't see them, but you can feel them. Every time you think about doing something new, something challenging, something that might lead to growth, you feel those bars. You feel the resistance. You feel the fear. And most people, when they feel that resistance, they turn around and go back to what's familiar. But winners understand that the comfort zone is not comfortable at all. It's actually the most dangerous place you can be. Because when you're in your comfort zone, you're not growing, and when you're not growing, you're dying. Life is either growth or decay. There's no middle ground. The third enemy is other people's opinions. This is a big one. How many dreams have died because someone said they couldn't be done? How many people have given up on their goals because someone told them they were being unrealistic? How many lives have been wasted because someone chose to live according to other people's expectations instead of their own dream? Other people's opinions become our reality when we give them more weight than our own beliefs. When we care more about what others think than what we know is possible. When we let their limitations become our limitations. But here's what you need to understand about other people's opinions. Most people are not qualified to have an opinion about your life. Most people are not living the life you want to live. Most people are not accomplishing the things you want to accomplish, so why would you let their opinions determine your destiny? The fourth enemy is the fear of success. This might sound strange, but fear of success is just as dangerous as fear of failure. Maybe more dangerous, because at least when you're afraid of failure, you know what you're afraid of. But fear of success is sneaky. It hides behind other fears and excuses. Fear of success shows up as thoughts like, what if I succeed and then I can't handle it? What if I succeed and people expect too much from me? What if I succeed and then I fail later? These thoughts keep you from even trying. They keep you from taking the actions that could lead to breakthrough. But success isn't something to fear. Success is something to prepare for. Success is something to train for. Success is something to expect. When you do the right things consistently over time, the fifth enemy is the victim mentality. This is the belief that life is happening to you instead of for you. It's the belief that you're powerless, that you don't have control, that your circumstances determine your destiny. The victim mentality is perhaps the most dangerous enemy of all because it takes away your power before you even start. When you have a victim mentality, you spend all your energy complaining about your problems instead of solving them. You spend all your time looking for someone to blame instead of looking for ways to improve. You spend all your focus on what's wrong instead of what's possible. But here's the truth. You are not a victim. You are not powerless. You are not at the mercy of your circumstances. You have the power to choose your thoughts, your actions, your responses. You have the power to change your life. The final enemy is excuses. Excuses are the enemy of progress. They're the reason why most people never achieve their potential. They're the comfort blanket we wrap around ourselves when we don't want to do the work. Excuses come in many forms. I don't have time. I don't have money. I don't have the right connections. I'm too old. I'm too young. I don't have enough experience. I don't have enough education. Every excuse seems reasonable when you're making it. But excuses are not reasons. They're just convenient ways to avoid taking responsibility. The person who is committed to success will find a way. The person who is committed to excuses will find an excuse. Which one are you? And let me tell you about another enemy that's even more dangerous because it's so subtle. It's the enemy of low expectations. This enemy convinces you to set your goals too small, to dream too little, to expect too little from yourself and from life. Low expectations are comfortable. They don't require much effort. They don't involve much risk. They don't demand much growth. But they also don't produce much reward. They don't create much excitement. They don't generate much fulfillment. I've watched people settle for a life that's far below their potential because they were afraid to expect more. They were afraid that if they set their goals too high, they might be disappointed. They were afraid that if they expected too much, they might fail. So they chose to expect less and guaranteed themselves a life of mediocrity. But here's what I learned from studying successful people. They don't set low expectations to avoid disappointment. They set high expectations to create motivation. They don't lower their standards to match their performance. They raise their performance to match their standards. Your expectations become your reality. If you expect little, you'll receive little. If you expect much, you'll receive much. If you expect the best, you'll get the best. If you expect the worst, you'll get the worst. Life has a way of giving you exactly what you expect. Another enemy is the habit of negative focus. This is the tendency to focus on what's wrong instead of what's right, on what's missing instead of what's present, on what's impossible instead of what's possible. Where your focus goes, your energy flows. Where your energy flows, your results go. Most people have been trained to focus on problems. They wake up and immediately start thinking about what's wrong in their life. They read the news and fill their mind with stories of conflict, disaster, and failure. They talk to their friends and spend most of the conversation complaining about their circumstances. But successful people have trained themselves to focus on solutions. They wake up and think about their goals, their opportunities, their possibilities. They read books and articles that inspire them and educate them. They have conversations about ideas, dreams, and strategies. This doesn't mean ignoring problems or pretending they don't exist. It means focusing on solutions instead of dwelling on problems. It means spending more time thinking about what you want than what you don't want. It means training your mind to look for opportunities in every challenge. The enemy of perfectionism is also worth mentioning. Perfectionism might seem like a good thing, but it's actually a form of fear. It's the fear of not being good enough. It's the fear of making mistakes. It's the fear of criticism or judgment. Perfectionism keeps you from starting because you're waiting for the perfect moment. It keeps you from finishing because nothing ever feels good enough. It keeps you from sharing your gifts because you're afraid they're not perfect enough. But here's the truth about perfectionism. Perfect is the enemy of good. Perfect is the enemy of done. Perfect is the enemy of progress. While you're waiting for perfect, opportunities are passing you by. While you're trying to make everything perfect, other people are taking action and getting results. The goal isn't perfection, the goal is progress. The goal isn't to be perfect, the goal is to be better than you were yesterday. The goal isn't to create something perfect, the goal is to create something valuable. There's also the enemy of comparison. This is the habit of measuring your success against other people's success. It's the trap of thinking that someone else's victory is your defeat. It's the mistake of believing that there's only a limited amount of success to go around. Comparison is the thief of joy. When you compare yourself to others, you're either feeling superior or inferior. Either way, you're not focusing on your own growth and progress. You're not celebrating your own victories. You're not working on your own goals. But here's what you need to understand. Everyone's journey is different. Everyone's starting point is different. Everyone's challenges are different. Everyone's timeline is different. Comparing your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20 is not only unfair, it's useless. The only person you should compare yourself to is the person you were yesterday. The only competition that matters is the competition with your former self. The only standard that counts is your own standard of excellence. Another subtle enemy is the need for immediate results. We live in an instant gratification society. We want everything now. We want success yesterday. We want results without process. We want the harvest without the planting. But success doesn't work that way. Success is like farming. You plant seeds, you water them, you tend them, and then you wait. You don't plant seeds on Monday and expect a harvest on Tuesday. You understand that growth takes time. The need for immediate results causes people to quit too soon. They try something for a few days or a few weeks, and when they don't see dramatic results, they give up. They assume it's not working, so they try something else. They become success hoppers, jumping from one opportunity to another, never staying long enough to see results. But success requires patience. It requires persistence. It requires the ability to keep going when you don't see immediate results. It requires faith in the process, even when you can't see the progress. The final enemy I want to mention is the enemy of isolation. This is the tendency to try to do everything yourself. It's the belief that asking for help is a sign of weakness. It's the pride that keeps you from learning from others who have already achieved what you want to achieve. Isolation is dangerous because it limits your perspective. When you're trying to figure everything out on your own, you're limited to your own experience, your own knowledge, your own insights. But when you connect with others, you gain access to their experience, their knowledge, their insights. No one succeeds alone. Behind every successful person is a team of people who supported them, encouraged them, advised them, and believed in them. The fastest way to achieve your goals is to learn from people who have already achieved similar goals. But you have to be willing to ask for help. You have to be willing to admit that you don't have all the answers. You have to be willing to learn from others who know more than you do. These enemies are real and they're powerful. They've been holding people back for generations. They've been preventing people from achieving their potential. They've been keeping people stuck in lives that are far below what's possible. But here's the good news. Now that you know what these enemies are, you can defeat them. Now that you understand how they work, you can overcome them. Now that you see how they've been sabotaging your success, you can eliminate them. The battle for your mind is real, but it's a battle you can win. It's a battle you must win if you want to achieve your dreams. It's a battle that starts today with the very next thought you think. Now that we understand the enemies within, it's time to start the training. It's time to build the mental disciplines that will transform your mind from a source of limitation into a source of limitless possibility. The first discipline is reading. Reading is to the mind what exercise is to the body. It's mental nutrition. It's how you feed your mind the thoughts and ideas that will help you grow. But not just any reading. You need to be selective about what you put into your mind. If you want to think like a successful person, you need to read what successful people read. If you want to solve problems like a winner, you need to study how winners think. If you want to achieve great things, you need to fill your mind with great thoughts. I recommend reading for at least 30 minutes every day. Read books about success, about leadership, about personal development. Read biographies of people who have achieved what you want to achieve. Read about ideas that challenge you to think bigger and dream larger. But here's the key. Don't just read for information. Read for transformation. Take notes. Ask questions. Apply what you learn. Let the ideas you read change the way you think and act. The second discipline is positive self-talk. The conversation you have with yourself is the most important conversation you'll ever have. It's happening all day long and it's shaping your reality more than you realize. Most people have terrible self-talk. They're constantly putting themselves down, focusing on their weaknesses, reminding themselves of their failures. They would never talk to a friend the way they talk to themselves, but your self-talk becomes your reality. If you tell yourself you can't do something long enough, you'll start to believe it. And once you believe it, you'll stop trying. Winners have different self-talk. They speak to themselves like they would speak to someone they love and believe in. They focus on their strengths, their possibilities, their potential. They remind themselves of their victories, their progress, their growth. Start paying attention to your self-talk. When you catch yourself thinking negative thoughts, stop and choose better ones. Instead of, I can't do this, try, I'm learning how to do this. Instead of, I always mess up, try, I'm getting better every day. Instead of, this is too hard, try, this is helping me grow. The third discipline is visualization. This is the practice of seeing your success before it happens. It's mental rehearsal. It's programming your mind for victory before you even step into the arena. Visualization works because your mind can't tell the difference between a real experience and a vividly imagined one. When you visualize yourself succeeding, your mind starts to believe it's possible. When your mind believes it's possible, you start to act like it's possible. And when you act like it's possible, you make it possible. Spend time every day seeing yourself achieving your goals. See yourself overcoming challenges. See yourself living the life you want to live. Make it real in your mind and watch it become real in your life. The fourth discipline is goal setting and daily review. You can't hit a target you can't see. You can't achieve a goal you haven't set. Goals give your mind direction. They give you something to focus on, something to work toward, something to measure your progress against. But it's not enough to just set goals. You need to review them daily. You need to keep them fresh in your mind. You need to let them influence your decisions, your actions, your priorities. Write down your goals. Make them specific, measurable, and time-bound. Read them every morning when you wake up and every evening before you go to sleep. Let them become part of your daily mental diet. The fifth discipline is association. You become like the people you spend time with. If you spend time with negative people, you'll start to think negative thoughts. If you spend time with successful people, you'll start to think like a successful person. Now, this doesn't mean you need to abandon your friends and family, but it does mean you need to be intentional about who you're learning from. who you're listening to, who you're allowing to influence your thinking. Seek out mentors, coaches, and teachers who have achieved what you want to achieve. Read their books, listen to their speeches, study their methods. Surround yourself with people who challenge you to grow, who believe in your potential, who support your dream. The sixth discipline is physical exercise. This might seem like it doesn't belong in a discussion about mental training, but physical exercise is one of the best things you can do for your mind. When you exercise, you're not just training your body. You're training your discipline, your perseverance, your ability to push through discomfort. Exercise also releases chemicals in your brain that improve your mood, increase your energy, and enhance your mental clarity. A strong body supports a strong mind. The seventh discipline is meditation and quiet time. In our noisy, busy world, your mind rarely gets a chance to rest. It's constantly processing information, solving problems, worrying about the future, or dwelling on the past. But your mind needs quiet time to recharge, to process, to gain clarity. Spend time in silence every day. It doesn't have to be formal meditation. It could be a quiet walk, a few minutes of deep breathing, or simply sitting in silence without any distractions. Use this time to listen to your thoughts, to gain perspective, to connect with your inner wisdom. These disciplines might seem simple, but don't let their simplicity fool you. Simple doesn't mean easy. These disciplines require commitment, consistency, and patience, but they work. They will transform your mind from a source of limitation into a source of unlimited possibility. The key to success isn't in doing extraordinary things. It's in doing ordinary things extraordinarily well. It's in the small daily actions that compound over time to create massive results. And this is what I call the compound effect. Just like money in the bank earns interest, your daily disciplines earn compound interest in your life. Each day you read, you get a little smarter. Each day you exercise, you get a little stronger. Each day you practice positive self-talk, you get a little more confident. Each day you associate with successful people, you start to think a little more like them. The problem is most people want the results without the discipline. They want the harvest without the planting. They want the reward without the work. But that's not how life works. Life gives you what you deserve based on what you do, not what you want. I learned this lesson early in my career. I was working for a company and I wasn't happy with my results. I went to my mentor and complained about my circumstances. He listened patiently and then he said something that changed my life. He said, "Jim, you're getting paid exactly what you're worth. If you want to earn more, you need to become worth more." That hit me like a ton of bricks. I realized that I had been focusing on the wrong thing. I had been focusing on what I wanted instead of what I needed to become. I had been focusing on the results instead of the process. From that day forward, I committed to becoming more valuable every single day. I started reading more books. I started developing new skills. I started taking better care of my health. I started improving my attitude, and slowly but surely my results started to improve too. The difference between discipline and regret is this. Discipline weighs ounces, but regret weighs tons. The discipline of daily reading might feel like a burden now, but the regret of an uneducated mind will be a much heavier burden later. The discipline of daily exercise might be uncomfortable now, but the regret of poor health will be much more uncomfortable later. You can choose discipline today or regret tomorrow, but you can't avoid both. Life will give you one or the other. The choice is yours. Let me tell you about the power of morning routines. How you start your day determines how you live your day. If you start your day in a reactive mode, checking emails, watching the news, responding to other people's agendas, you'll spend the rest of your day playing catch-up. But if you start your day in a proactive mode, focusing on your goals, your growth, your priorities, you'll spend the rest of your day moving forward. Successful people understand this. They don't let their day happen to them. They make their day happen. They take control of their morning, and by doing so, they take control of their life. Your morning routine Doesn't have to be complicated. It could be as simple as spending 30 minutes reading, 20 minutes exercising, and 10 minutes reviewing your goals. The key is consistency. Do it every day, not just when you feel like it. But the end of your day is just as important as the beginning. Your evening routine prepares your mind for the next day. It's when you review your progress, celebrate your victories, and set your intentions for tomorrow. Before you go to sleep, ask yourself 3 questions. What did I do well today? What did I learn today? What will I do better tomorrow? This simple practice will help you end each day on a positive note and start the next day with clarity and purpose. Consistency is more important than perfection. You don't have to be perfect every day. You just have to be consistent. You don't have to hit home runs every day. You just have to keep showing up, keep swinging, keep trying. The person who reads 10 pages every day will read 3,650 pages in a year. That's about 12 books. The person who exercises 20 minutes every day will exercise for more than 120 hours in a year. The person who practices positive self-talk for 5 minutes every day will reprogram their mind with more than 30 hours of positive input. Small actions, repeated consistently, create massive results. This is the secret that most people miss. They're looking for the big breakthrough, the overnight success, the magic bullet. But success isn't about one big action. It's about thousands of small actions compounded over time. Learning from failure is another crucial skill. Everyone fails. Everyone makes mistakes. Everyone falls short sometimes. The difference between winners and losers isn't that winners don't fail. It's that winners learn from their failures and keep going. When you fail, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I do better next time? What strengths did I discover? What weaknesses do I need to address? Failure is not the opposite of success. Failure is part of success. It's tuition for the school of experience. But here's the key. Don't let failure define you. Let it refine you. Let it make you stronger, wiser, more determined. Let it teach you lessons that success never could. Celebrate your small wins. Most people only celebrate the big victories. They wait until they achieve their major goals before they allow themselves to feel good about their progress. But this is a mistake. Small wins build momentum. They create positive emotions that fuel continued effort. Did you read for 30 minutes today? Celebrate it. Did you exercise when you didn't feel like it? Celebrate it. Did you choose positive self-talk over negative self-talk? Celebrate it. These small victories are the building blocks of major success. Momentum is everything. Once you get momentum going in the right direction, success becomes easier. But momentum works both ways. Negative momentum can pull you down just as fast as positive momentum can pull you up. That's why it's so important to protect your momentum, to nurture it, to build on it every day. Now, let me talk to you about what it means to live as a winner. Training your mind to win isn't a destination. It's a journey. It's not something you do once and then forget about. It's something you do every day for the rest of your life. Mental training is like physical training. If you stop doing it, you lose the benefits. If you stop reading, your mind starts to stagnate. If you stop exercising, your body starts to weaken. If you stop practicing positive self-talk, negative thoughts start to creep back in. But here's the good news. The longer you practice these disciplines, the easier they become. The stronger your mental muscles get, the more natural these habits become. What once required tremendous effort becomes automatic. What once felt like work becomes a way of life. When you train your mind to win, you'll face setbacks. That's guaranteed. Life will test you. It will challenge your resolve. It will try to knock you off course. But a trained mind knows how to handle setbacks without losing progress. When you face a setback, remember this. It's not what happens to you that matters. It's how you respond to what happens to you. You can't control all the events in your life, but you can control your response to those events. And your response determines your destiny. The trained mind sees setbacks as setups for comebacks. It sees problems as opportunities to grow. It sees challenges as chances to become stronger. It doesn't ask, why is this happening to me? It asks, what can I learn from this? How can I use this to become better? Part of living as a winner is teaching others what you've learned. When you teach, you learn twice. When you share your knowledge, you deepen your understanding. When you help others succeed, you create a legacy that lasts beyond your lifetime. Don't wait until you've achieved all your goals to start helping others. Start where you are with what you have. There's someone behind you who needs to learn what you've already learned. There's someone who needs to hear your story, who needs to benefit from your experience. Teaching others also keeps you accountable. When you're helping someone else develop winning habits, you're more likely to maintain those habits yourself. When you're encouraging someone else to think positive thoughts, you're more likely to monitor your own thinking. With a trained mind comes responsibility. You can't unknow what you know. You can't pretend that you don't understand the principles of success. You can't go back to blaming your circumstances for your results. Once you understand that you have the power to change your life, you become responsible for using that power. This responsibility isn't a burden. It's a privilege. It's the privilege of being able to create the life you want instead of accepting the life you get. It's the privilege of being able to help others do the same. Legacy thinking is about more than just your own success. It's about the impact you have on others. It's about the difference you make in the world. It's about what you leave behind that's more valuable than what you take with you. When you train your mind to win, you're not just changing your own life. You're changing the lives of everyone you influence. Your children will see your example and learn that success is possible. Your friends will see your transformation and be inspired to change their own lives. Your colleagues will see your attitude and be motivated to raise their own standards. Success is contagious. When you commit to excellence in your own life, you give others permission to do the same. When you refuse to settle for mediocrity, you show others that better is possible. When you train your mind to win, you create a ripple effect that extends far beyond your own life. But legacy thinking also means taking a long-term view of your success. It means making decisions based on where you want to be in 10 years, not just where you want to be tomorrow. It means building something that will last, not just something that will bring quick results. The person who trains their mind to win thinks in decades, not days. They plant trees whose shade they may never sit in. They invest in relationships that may not pay dividends for years. They develop skills that may not be needed until later in their career. This long-term thinking is what separates winners from everyone else. Most people are focused on instant gratification. They want results now. They want success yesterday. But winners understand that the best things in life take time to develop. Your mind is like a garden, and you are the gardener. Every day you have the choice to plant seeds of success or seeds of failure. You have the choice to water the plants you want to grow or the weeds you want to eliminate. You have the choice to tend your garden with care or to let it grow wild. The garden of your mind will produce exactly what you plant. If you plant seeds of doubt, you'll harvest a crop of limitation. If you plant seeds of fear, you'll harvest a crop of missed opportunities. If you plant seeds of negativity, you'll harvest a crop of problems. But if you plant seeds of faith, you'll harvest a crop of possibility. If you plant seeds of courage, you'll harvest a crop of achievement. If you plant seeds of positive thinking, you'll harvest a crop of success. The choice is yours. You can continue to let your mind run wild, accepting whatever thoughts happen to grow there, or you can take control of your mental garden and plant only the seeds that will produce the harvest you want. So here's my challenge to you. Starting today, starting right now, make the commitment to train your mind to win. Make the commitment to feed your mind positive thoughts every day. Make the commitment to associate with people who believe in your potential. Make the commitment to take control of your mental garden and plant only the seeds that will produce the harvest you want. This won't be easy. Nothing worthwhile ever is. There will be days when you don't feel like reading. There will be days when negative thoughts seem easier than positive ones. There will be days when you want to give up and go back to your old ways of thinking. But on those days, remember this: You have the power to choose. You have the power to change your thoughts. You have the power to change your life. You have the power to train your mind to win. The person you become, the life you live, the success you achieve, it all starts with a single decision. The decision to take control of your mind. The decision to train your thoughts. The decision to think like a winner. That decision is in front of you right now. You can make it or you can ignore it. You can commit to the process or you can continue to hope that things will somehow get better on their own. You can train your mind to win or you can let your mind defeat you. The choice is yours, but choose wisely, because the quality of your life depends on the quality of your thinking. And the quality of your thinking depends on the quality of your mental training. Your mind is waiting to be trained. Your potential is waiting to be unleashed. Your success is waiting to be achieved. The only question is, are you ready to do what it takes to make it happen? The time for excuses is over. The time for procrastination is over. The time for waiting for the perfect moment is over. The time to train your mind to win is now. Your future self is counting on the decisions you make today. Your dreams are waiting for you to develop the mental strength to achieve them. Your potential is calling for you to think bigger, believe stronger, and act bolder. So make the commitment. Train your mind to win. And watch as your life transforms in ways you never thought possible. The mind you train today will determine the life you live tomorrow. Make it a mind that's trained to win.